Hello all, we shall be studying for loop in Python today. Let us first understand why do we require a loop. There are certain tasks that we need to repeat. For example, we pay the electricity bill every month. Here I am repeating the print statement to print the numbers 1 to 5. So, if we need to repeat a set of statements, we require a loop. The statements in a loop are executed again and again as long as a particular condition remains true. When the condition becomes false, the loop terminates. This kind of repetition is also known as iteration. In Python, repetition is possible through the for loop, the while loop, and the nested loops. Let us look at the for loop. A for loop is traditionally used when you have a block of code which you want to repeat a fixed number of times. So you always know how many times the for loop is going to be repeated or executed. The for loop is used to iterate over a range of values or a sequence. Now this sequence can be list, string or tuple. To keep the count of the number of times the loop has to be executed, we use a control variable which is also known as a counter. The counter takes a different value for each iteration of the for loop. We have the starting statement of the counter. We then evaluate it against the test statement. If the condition proves to be true, we then execute statements which form the body of the loop. We then go for the next iteration of the loop where the counter or the control variable takes another value. We check it against the test statement. If the test statement is true, then we execute statements, that is the body of the loop, and again go for the next iteration of the loop. Here again the control variable takes another value. We again evaluate it against the test statement. Here, if the test statement turns out to be false, then we exit from the loop. We do not go further. In order to use the for loop, we use the range function which provides us the sequence of numbers, since the for loop iterates over a sequence. So there are various ways of using the range statement. The range statement uses three parameters or arguments: start, which provides the starting number; stop, which provides the last number of the range, but stop is never included in the list of values generated or the sequence of values generated; and step, which is the increment. Let us see how we can use the range function here. So if we give range, start, stop and step, so the elements will be that are generated will be from the starting number till stop minus 1. As I said, stop is never included. And incrementing by step. If we give range, start and stop, so the elements start from the starting number till stop minus 1, incrementing by 1. And if we give range, stop, then the elements start from 0 till stop minus 1, incrementing by 1. Let us see some examples. So if I give range 624, so my starting value is 6, stopping value is 20, and my step or increment is 4. So the values generated are 6, 10, 14, 18. So as I said, we do not include the stopping value. If I give range 4, 10, so the starting value is 4, stopping value is 10, and the increment is 1. So I am not providing the increment value here. So by default, it is taken as 1. So the values generated are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And if I were to give range 6, so 6 becomes my stopping value. So I start from 0 till 6, but not including 6. And the step value obviously by default is 1. So the values generated are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now we can also use the range function to move backwards, generate values which are moving backwards. So I give here 10, 2 and minus 1. So my starting value is 10. Stopping value is 2, so I am moving backwards, and stepping value is decrementing by 1. When we give a minus 1, it says decrement instead of increment. So the values generated here are 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 and 3. As I said, the stopping value is never included. So the general form of the for loop is we give for the control variable in sequence. Now this sequence of numbers is provided by the range function. So instead of the sequence here, we give the range function and then we give a colon. After the colon, the statements which form the body of the loop become indented. So if you see the example here, I have given for x in range. X is my control variable and in range I have given 0, 3, 1. So starting from 0 till 3 but not including 3 and incrementing by 1, I want to print the value of x. So the three numbers 0, 1 and 2 are displayed. Let us see another example where I want to display all the numbers, even numbers from 20 to 40. So I have given for x in range 20, 42 because I don't want to include 42 and the increment value is 2 and I am printing the value of x. So x becomes my control variable or counter. Print x forms the body of the loop and range will generate numbers starting from 20 till 42 but not including 42. So if you see here, my starting value is an even number and every time I increment by 2 and produce another even number. So all even numbers from 20 till 40 are displayed. Let us see how we can use the for loop to accumulate values. That means to store values. Now, I want to display the sum of the first 10 natural numbers. So, here I am taking a variable sum and I am giving it the initial value as 0. I start with my for loop for I in range 1 till 11. Since I want to take the first 10 natural numbers, I am taking from 1 till 11. So 11 is never included. And then I say sum is equal to sum plus I. So the new value of I, whichever value is generated in the loop, that value of I is added to the previous value of sum. And then I am printing the value of sum. Let us see how this takes place in the memory. So for the first time, when sum is equal to 0 and the value of I that is produced is 1, we will be adding it to sum. So 0 plus 1 is equal to 1. So now the new value of sum is 1. Next time when the loop is iterated, so I becomes 2. Now it will be added to the previous value of sum, which was 1. So 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. Now the next value of I becomes 3. 3 will be added to the previous value of sum. So 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. So the value of sum now is 6. Next time when the loop iterates, I becomes 4 and then I'm going to add it to the previous value of sum, that is 6. So 6 plus 4 is equal to 10. So like this the loop will continue from 1 till 10 and all the values of I will be added to sum to give us 55 in the end. So all these values also will get displayed side by side. As they are getting added to sum, I have given print also. So they are getting printed. Sorry. So I have all the values of sum getting displayed here. Let us see another example. Here I am accepting numbers inside the for loop. So I am accepting the limit from the user. I am accepting n from the user and then running the loop n times. Every time the loop is running, I am accepting a number and then displaying the sum of all the numbers that the user enters. So I accept the limit from the user and in this question I am giving 5 as my limit. So every time the loop is running, I am accepting a number from the user and then adding it to sum. So in the same way, I am taking the initial value of sum as 0 and then I say for I in range n, so I'm going till 0 till 4 or I could have given 1 till n plus 1 and I'm accepting the number from the user A and then adding it to sum. So the new value of sum will contain the previous value of sum plus A, that is the number entered by the user. Let us see how this works. So I am entering 5 as my limit. So the loop will run 5 times. As I told you, for loop we will always know how many times the loop has to run. So for the first time I enter 12. So 12 will be added to sum, that is 0 plus 12 is equal to 12. Then next time I give the value as 34. So 34 will be added to sum. Sum was 12. So 12 plus 34, that is 46. Next time again when the loop runs, I am entering 56. So 56 is then added to 46. Again next time when the loop runs, I am giving minus 5. So now minus 5 will be subtracted from sum because it is a negative number. And then when the loop runs for the fifth time, I am entering 78. Now, whatever the value of sum is calculated, the last value, since I have given print statement outside the for loop, this is not indented, so it is outside the for loop. It does not form part of the for loop. So only the final value of sum will be printed. So here I am giving the sum of numbers entered is 175 is getting displayed. That will be all. Thank you.